شادي بيغرد لعودتنا.
هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي للأرض اللي ربتنا.
وخدي سلامي يا نجوم عالبيادر والكروب.
خذي سلامي يا نجوم عالبيادر والكروب.
وبعد الفراشي بتحوم عم تستنظر عودتنا.
هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي للأرض اللي ربتنا.
واحمل لبلادي سلام لاخواني وكل العمام.
واحمل لبلادي سلام لاخواني وكل العمام.
وبعده زغلول الحمام عشوا على توتتنا.
هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي للأرض اللي ربتنا.
وعهد الله وعهد الثوار ما بنسى حقك يا دار.
وعهد الله وعهد الثوار ما بنسى حقك يا دار.
ومهما طولنا المشوار راجع لك يا ديرتنا.
هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي للأرض اللي ربتنا. هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا
صبرك
في
على ما ننجار.
ودي سلامي ودي
لابد من
للأرض اللي
مهما طول المشوار.
يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي
مهما
للأرض اللي ربتنا. هدي يا بحر هدي طولنا في غيبتنا، ودي سلامي ودي للأرض اللي ربتنا.
Kia ora. I'm Neil Scott, the Secretary of the Palestine Solidarity Network Aotearoa. We have collection buckets going today. We collect because we do a lot of things in the background that a lot of people don't know. Things like bringing Francesca Albanese to Auckland in the rally. Kia ora. And flights, accommodation down to Wellington, meeting with MFAT and a whole variety of people in Wellington, and press conferences in Auckland. There are 20 different groups now around Auckland who are underneath the umbrella of PSNA, and Auckland is the biggest one. So give yourself a hand. So to do a lot of that work in the background, providing flags, banners to the 20 regions, we used to have about 12, but over this last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a whole lot of people come in. So feel free to donate if you've got some money, or go online. We have a lot of people who actually go in and they donate a cup of coffee a month, $5 a month to the cause. So, but we always say to each person only what they feel comfortable giving and what they can afford. So do not overstep your ability, But if you remember the letters PSNA, standing for Palestine Solidarity Network Aotearoa, that is psna.nz. You'll find links on that Facebook page, on the front page of the Facebook page, where you can set up maybe a cup of coffee a month to the people who are doing this mahi in the background. Thank you.
ايدينا واحدة يا ستي والله ايدينا واحدة ما ودعتكم رحلة فلسطين ما ودعتكم ما بنسى أرضي في قلبي والله ما بنسى أرضي عوارك صيني لشت بالحبر عوارك صيني بكتب بدمي حبك يا بلادي بكتب بدمي يا فلسطيني علي زرالك يا فلسطيني لا تنهمي راسك بالعالي لا تنهمي
Mauri ora kia tātou. Today I've had the honour to start our kaupapa with karakia, and before I do that, I just wanted to explain one thing. In our culture, when we say tihei mauri ora, we are acknowledging the first breath given to mankind by Tāne Mahuta, and we're also sharing and acknowledging each other's breath. So when I finish karakia, you'll hear me say tihei, and I invite us all to share a breath. So we'll inhale for 2 seconds, and on the 3rd second we'll exhale saying mauri ora. So we'll just have one run through now. So when I say tihei, we inhale for 2 seconds, and on the 3rd second we exhale saying mauri ora. Tihei mauri ora. Ka pai. Me karakia tātou. Ko te pu te more te weu te aka te rea. Ko te wanui te kune te whe te kore te pō. Ki ngā tangata Māori nā rangi rawa ko papa. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Ko te pu te more te weu te aka te rea. Ko te wanui te kune te whe te kore te pō. Ki ngā tangata Māori nā rangi rawa ko papa. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Tihei mauri ora. And we'll have a minute of silence now.
Kia ora, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I will be reciting a surah, a passage from the Quran. It's the first surah of the Quran called Surah Al-Fatiha. And it's a supplication, a prayer. So I won't be doing the translation, but yeah, I'll just recite it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. Jazakallah khair. Thank you much. Free, 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 free. From the river to the sea. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much.
Tēnā tātou, we're now going to hear the national anthem of Palestine. Kia ora. Tēnā no. We're here because we cannot continue to watch the genocide unfolding and stay silent. We cannot continue to watch as our politicians and our media continue the lies of Israel and the USA. For some of us, this is a new kaupapa, but I'd like to introduce our next speaker, for whom this is no new kaupapa. Neil Scott from PSNA has been dedicated to this kaupapa for the last 2 decades, and I'll hand it over to Neil now. Kia ora, Neil.
Kia ora. Salam alaikum. You heard me before asking for kind donations. What I want to do is to point out that PSNA has a petition to close the Israeli embassy. Now that petition has reached more than 12,000 unique signatures. What we want to do before Parliament sits on the 7th, I think it is, of December, we want to drive that to 20,000 so we might greet the new Parliament with a big petition demanding that the New Zealand government closes the Israeli embassy. So, it's real easy. We've all got cell phones. If you get your cell phone out and you open your browser. Now remember the letters I told you before? PSNA.NZ. PSNA.NZ. If you just go to that homepage and scroll down, the first button you get to is Close the Israeli Embassy. You can click on that button and it will take you to the petition. You can sign that petition and you can sign up for the PSNA newsletters if you want. But if you're doing it now, that's great. If you're going to do it later, I will say again, remember those letters. PSNA, for the Palestine Solidarity Network Aotearoa, a group that's been working this mahi for 30 years. John Minto, after the South African apartheid was broken, was full on working on Palestinian human rights. So I say again, I'll keep on saying it, PSNA.NZ. If you don't sign the petition today, that's fine. Do it at home, do it later, but remembering to tell your friends, whānau, and put it on social media, PSNA.NZ. Sign the petition. Let's try to get this government to close the Israeli embassy and throw the ambassador out. Kia ora.
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Kia ora anō. As a wahine Māori, there's no greater honour for me than to stand with our Palestinian whānau today. In our Māori, when somebody passes away, the whānau pani are given space and time to grieve, and it is up to the extended whānau and those around us to come together and to carry and to support. So it's an honour for us and all of our green vests here to be here to tautoko the Palestinian whānau. We keep hearing news of Palestinians who live here in Tāmaki and around Aotearoa who continue to lose their whānau in the genocide, and I want to just mihi aroha ki a koutou. Even though it's up to the rest of us to tautoko our Palestinian whānau, we've just seen amazing leadership from the Palestinian community, including organising these events. And I'd like to introduce one of our amazing Palestinian rangatahi who have been carrying this kaupapa in a beautiful, dignified, respectful, powerful way. Please give it up and get your phones out for a snap action. Give it up for Omar.
Assalamu alaikum. So today we have a quick activity, actually two. So if you have your phone on you, a lot of people taking videos, get them out. I want to see all the phones, please. So what we'll do is two things. The first is you could go quickly to www.pya.org.nz. We have a petition asking the government to give a special category visa for Palestinians living in Gaza with family in New Zealand. They did this in many international crises before. And I don't see a reason why they can't do this for Palestinians as well. So please sign the petition while we can. And yeah, that's the first action. So I'll give you 30 seconds or so. I'm bad at counting. And then we have another one. So keep your phones out. if you finished using your phone, the next step is to open your Instagram account and go to David Seymour's page. We're gonna put a lot of free Palestine comments. Let's do this. While you're at it, also like every other free Palestine comment and add other comments about the genocide, about the people being killed. We have 15,000 civilians killed. These are not numbers, they're people. This is a war crime we're talking about, and we should see action. We should, like the interview that was done with David Seymour the other day, it shows how ignorant he is on what's happening. So let's show him that these numbers are real and that people of New Zealand support Palestine. So now, just a reminder, if in case you missed the website, it was www.pya.org.nz. That's for the petitions. Thank you.
Kia ora tātou katoa, he uri tēnei o ngā puhi nui tonu ko Ngāti Kahuki Whangaroa te hapu, ko Bianca Ranson tōku ingoa. I'm just here today to share some kōrero, but also just to remind people in terms of safety. So this is a peaceful protest, and around us you will see those of us that are wearing the high-vis vests with kaiawhina on the back, and our kaupapa for this particular rally and in terms of supporting our Palestinian whānau is to keep people safe. But we all need to be on that kaupapa. So if we see our whānau that are escalating or being provoked by those who may turn up to deliberately agitate and provoke us, please try and keep calm. It's really, really important that we do not compromise the kaupapa. So if anything like that is happening, please look around you to one of us. There's lots of us here, and just let us know that that's happening. But just before I move on and introduce our next speaker, I just wanted to actually mihi to my little sister here, Te Atarangi Mārie, Ngāti Whātua ki o Rake, that opened the rally today with karakia, but I also wanted to touch on some of our whānau kōrero as well that is quite relevant to what's happening now. And that is that as Māori, we share many of the same struggles as what our Palestinian whānau are going through. It can never be to the horrific genocidal degree of what is happening right now due to the Israeli colonial apartheid state. But one thing that we learnt this week is that if our current government could eradicate us, they would. And they're going to use all of the means possible to do that. This isn't the first time, obviously, that we've been through this. And in terms of my sister and I'm going to link into some kōrero here of our father. There was a time when the New Zealand government proposed something called the fiscal envelope. And it was a full and final deal to settle all treaty settlements and basically extinguish any of our further rights. The government had $1 million for the propaganda to spread that throughout Aotearoa. And you know how much we had as tangata whenua? Nothing. So what happened was that a few people got together. They were like, how are we going to counter this? How are we going to inform our people across the motu of the government's actions and their plans to extinguish our treaty rights? So our uncle Hori, he had a chainsaw. And our dad had $5. That $5, he bought some petrol, he put it in that chainsaw, he went up to the top of Maunga Kia One Tree Hill, and he cut down that tree. And the reason that he did that was because how do you come up against the propaganda machine that is trying to inform the masses of the government's plan and the government's continued colonial project to try and erase our mana, our rangatiratanga as Māori. And that was effective. It sparked off occupations all over Aotearoa, and the fiscal envelope was thrown out. So my message here today is that when we see the propaganda that we're seeing, when we see these cowards, these absolute cowards that think that they have some kind of military might against a helpless and defenseless population, it is the power of the people, all of us that are here today, and all of our creative ways of thinking and our passion to hold true to what is right, to rise up and to make sure we hold those accountable. There's been a ceasefire called. It's 4 days, it's a pause. Who the hell pauses a genocide? So people can have a drink of water before they get murdered and bombed again? Tell everyone to keep on turning up, whānau. Keep on turning up to these rallies until Palestine is free from the river to the sea. We have to turn up ia wiki, every single week here. So that was just a reminder in terms of what we're facing as tangata whenua here in Aotearoa this week, and for the next 3 years, potentially the next 9 years. They have made their intentions clear, and we are here. And we are united with all other people of colour, all other Indigenous people, all other marginalised and oppressed people across the globe and in Aotearoa. And we will take down the worldwide settler colonial project which has thrown us into a climate crisis. So if anything, my message to David Seymour is, you don't know what you have awoken in our country. You have set the fire burning beneath the people that will rise up and take you down. Your settler colonial project and fascism has no place in Aotearoa. We don't need any New Zealand version of the IDF. And that's what we're currently seeing here in Aotearoa. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker. Tamitha Paul is a Māori wahine activist and politician who is a member of the Wellington City Council for the Pukehino Lambton Ward. Oh, that might be outdated. I believe she's now a member of the Green Party, Wellington Central. She was one of the councillors who voted for the motion of Wellington to be a sister city with Ramallah, up the Lars, and Palestine. This is where two cities in different countries sign an agreement for social or economic cooperation. She sees a lot of parallels between the struggle of Māori for tino rangatiratanga and the struggle for Palestinian people. Everyone give a warm welcome to Tamitha Paul. Kia ora tātou. And just before we start with that, we've got some of our beautiful tamariki here who are going to lead us off with some of our chants. Kia ora.
Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Kapai, kia ora.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to be straight up with you right now. I am really nervous. This is the first time that I've spoken about this kaupapa not on my whenua. So want to begin by acknowledging this whenua, acknowledging mana whenua, Ngāti Whātua, and the Indigenous people of this land. I want to acknowledge all of the people and all of the children that have lost their lives, that have had their lives taken from them. I want to acknowledge people here in Aotearoa who have got whānau in Gaza, in Palestine right now. There hasn't been a day that has gone by that I haven't thought of you. And I'm feeling nervous, and I have that feeling in my puku of anxiety. But what helps me push through that is the knowledge that every politician sitting in Parliament has that feeling, but they do nothing about it because they are cowards. You just heard those tamariki just doing that chant just now. Our tamariki have more courage than those politicians. I want to thank you for having me. My name is Tamitha Paul. I'm proud to be the Green MP for Wellington Central. And I want to say from Pōneke, from Te Whanganui Ātara to Tāmaki Makaurau, Palestine will be free. And not even just city to city, from the deep south to Te Tai Tokiro, the far north, Palestine will be free, and Aotearoa stands with Palestine. The reason that I am a Green is because from day dot, we have been standing with Palestine, and unapologetically and unashamedly. With Sheikh Jarrah, with the assassination of Shireen Abu Akleh, on every Nakba day, and since 7th of October, we have known and stood up for our collective liberation because we know that our collective liberation is bound up together. And that is what Bianca was just talking about, you know, where Indigenous people in any place in this world are not free, none of us are free. I want to bring Pa Moana Jackson into this conversation because he reminded us that as tangata whenua, we need to be staunch allies to tauiwi of colour because our collective liberation is bound up together. And it's exactly like Bianca just said. None of us are safe. What we are seeing is the end stages of the colonial project, which is the systemic extermination of Indigenous people. And if you think that you're safe, or if we think that we're safe, we're not. We're at an earlier stage of that. And that is the inevitable conclusion. So that is why it's so important for us to be together, to stand here, to stand up for each other and raise our voices for Palestine, for Indigenous whānau everywhere. And especially after yesterday, looking at what this ballhead government has got planned for us. They want to make it easier to get guns, saying that when you are literally seeing a genocide unfolding in front of us. They want to mass incarcerate more Indigenous people. They want to... Absolute shame. They want to increase the pipeline of Māori from birth into prisons, and that's fucked. They want us to reinterpret the meaning of the founding document of Aotearoa, Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the same thing that gives each and every one of us a right to stand here on this whenua. They want to make that ambiguous, they want to throw it into question, but we won't let them. And I have to also acknowledge the excessive use of force by police on protesters standing up for Palestine. We think we are safe, but we are not, because the people charged with protecting us are not doing that. They're tackling us onto the ground, hitting our heads on the concrete, using excessive force.
Shame!
What we are calling for and what we have been calling for since day dot is an immediate and permanent ceasefire.
Yes, permanent.
We are calling for the recognition of the state of Palestine. And I want to share this with you because over the last 4 years I've been a city councillor in Welly, and the biggest, most important piece of mahi that we did was becoming a sister city with Ramallah. Because we knew that government, the Labour government, were too scared to acknowledge the state of Palestine, and we're not going to wait for them. So we went ahead and did that ourselves because we know that courage will never come out of the beehive. So we fully support the recognition of the state of Palestine, the right to self-determination for Palestinian people, the right to their whenua, the right to enjoy their culture, the right to enjoy their food, to sing, to celebrate their culture. We also support calls in this rally to expel the Israeli ambassador. How dare you? How dare you contribute to genocide and ethnic cleansing on our whenua? How dare you? And finally, we fully back making sure that whānau can be together again. We support family reunification. We want to make sure that our immigration system is able to welcome people to this whenua so that whānau can be reunited, but more importantly, so that when the genocide and ethnic cleansing is over, when Israel is held to account for their crimes against humanity, that they can return to their whenua. Their beautiful, beautiful whenua. And I hope to go to Palestine in my lifetime too. I know that that is a possibility because Palestine will be free. So the final thing that I want to say is keep going, keep showing up, keep talking about it with your whānau, be loud, keep sharing, keep it alive because you are having an impact. There's a reason why now the Labour Party, like late to the party, that's what they should be called, late to the party, why they have now called for a ceasefire. It wasn't because of their own morality, it wasn't because they had a conscience, it was because of you. So keep going. We stand with you every step of the way. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Ngā mihi.
I love it. Auntie Marama is so proud. Kia ora.
Oh, kia ora, thank you for that, Tamitha. It's now my great honour to introduce our next speaker, who is no stranger to us as Māori, as he's been working with Māori communities for a long time, including our most vulnerable. He's one of those very rare intellectuals who is with the people, who is for the people, who is an activist at heart. Please give it up for Rand Hazu.
Kia ora koutou, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou. It's lovely to see you all here. Marhaba, salamu alaikum. Can we please talk about BDS? What does BDS stand for? Boycott? Okay. The BDS movement started 2005, supported by the civil society in Palestine, academics, unions, schools, everyone. And what it is, it's modeled on the South African experience to apply pressure on the Israeli government to abide by international law. It wants three things: for Israel to stop the occupation, to dismantle the wall and pull back to areas of 67, to respect the rights of Arab citizens of Israel, Palestinians living inside of Israel, all their rights, and also to respect the rights of the refugees to return home. Three simple things. So what can we do? There's 4 companies that we're going to focus on here in Aotearoa. HP, Hewlett-Packard, Puma, SodaStream, and Sabra or Abella Hummus. My question to you all is, do you condemn HP? Yes. HP runs a biometric ID system that Israel uses to surveil and then restrict Palestinian movement. Do you condemn Puma? Puma sponsors the Israeli Football Association, including teams registered within illegal Israeli settlements. Do you condemn SodaStream? SodaStream is complicit in displacing indigenous Bedouin Palestinians in the Naqab. Do you condemn Sabra or Abella Hummus? This company is partly owned by the Strauss Group, and they've been known to fund the Israeli military. It is very, very important that you get the message out about BDS. It is through boycotts, divestments, and sanctions that we can pressure the Israeli government to abide by international law. BDS, boycott, divestments, sanctions. BDS. Thank you, everyone.
Kia ora tātou. I'd now like to welcome Tayyeba Khan. Tayyeba is the founder and trustee of Khadija Leadership Network, the New Zealand Peace Ambassador for the European Muslim League. She has over 15 years of experience having worked with the migrant and refugee communities in the occupied territories of Palestine, Australia, the United Kingdom, and Australia, and Aotearoa. Please give her a warm welcome. Kia ora tātou.
Oh, to be a short person. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā kātou katoa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I am standing, they're standing behind me, they should be really standing beside me. I'm standing with some of our elders who have been part of this resistance for a very long time. And actually, I wanted to take this opportunity today not to speak at you, because you've heard a lot and you have kind of actually a lot of information to process. So I wanted to bring it to your day-to-day life, because I think it's equally important that we be mindful of the erasure that's happening here. These are the people who were actually there when the resistance in Aotearoa began. So when I was a young person, I was brought into the fold with David Wakim, who I want to acknowledge today. For those of you who know, David was Palestinian. He died in 2005. I met him in the interfaith movement in the post-9/11 context, and that's how I learned about Palestine, because I'm not Palestinian, I'm Pakistani. And then I went to the West Bank because of Jan Free's mailing list. I actually spent some time in the West Bank twice and am really familiar with the day-to-day violence that happens on the ground. So why I wanted these guys to stand here today was because what you're seeing right now is not new. This is not the first time it's happened. I went when Operation Cast Lead was happening, and there was a 6-month ceasefire then. So what you're seeing now is simply genocide on screens, and there have been a group of people who've been trying for a long time to make this violence visible decades ago. So I guess why I want you to know these guys is because there's an erasure happening here. The erasure of your ancestry, the erasure of your connections, the erasure of knowing what your history is here, so that you know what happened in the past to respond to the present and change the future. You need to know the history, you need to know the people who've actually been doing this for a long time, so we can strategize better. Rather than reacting, which we've been doing for a very long time, we now need to mobilize in an organized, strategic fashion to bring the system down. That is not going to happen if we react every time something massive happens and we're seeing it on our screens and we mobilize like this. It happens with consistency. It happens with commitment. Every single speaker prior to me asked you to do an action today, which is bloody brilliant. What I want you to take away from today is keep those actions going. Once you go away from this rally, don't forget, your week should be filled with at least one thing you can do and commit to consistently to make sure we disrupt this fucking system. Because we can't go backwards. There's no way that we can stop now. So we need to keep going. And with that, I just want to thank these guys who've actually been my blessing, my sustenance, because we're all going to need that. Make sure you get yours. Kia ora.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Kia ora tātou. I'd just like to invite up Omar, who is going to take us through some of the chants for our kōrero. So listen in carefully because we'll be using them over and over.
So before I actually start, I got an update about our petition, and only 100 people signed it. I think there's like at least 5,000 today, so can you please sign the petition before you leave? Now, what we'll do is, we have a team for chants that will be doing it during the rally, and we thought it would be a good idea to practice those in here so you know what we're saying before we actually start. So, first one, the classic one, I'll say free, free, and you people say, let's try. Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Nailed it. Now the next one. You'll just repeat after me. From Auckland to Palestine.
From Auckland to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
Occupation is a crime.
From Auckland to Palestine.
From Auckland to Palestine.
Killing children is a crime.
Killing children is a crime.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
All right, the next one is a classic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the killing, stop the hate.
For those of you who didn't hear it, so I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and you say, we don't want your bloody war. I say 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the killing, stop the hate. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't want your bloody war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the killing, stop the hate.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
All right, so now let's focus on the theme of this rally. We're here because we don't want the pause. We want a permanent ceasefire. So, what do we want?
Ceasefire.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Ceasefire.
When do we want it?
Now.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
So now Nadine will continue with the chants we have. The second half will be slightly different. So it will be around BDS and what we say once we get to the U.S. consulate.
السلام عليكم أنا اسمي نادين مرتجى من غزة فلسطين. Kia ora everyone. My name is Nadine Mortaja. I'm from Gaza, Palestine. I'm going to go through some of the chants with you. So, the first one we're going to do is about BDS. So, I'm going to say BDS, you say take a stand, okay? Right. BDS.
Take a stand.
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 Right, awesome. Now we're gonna do another one. Now this is a new one, so we haven't done this before. So, I'm gonna say the occupation, you say shut it down. Okay? Let's try that. The occupation.
Shut it down.
The occupation.
Shut it down.
The siege on Gaza.
Shut it down.
The siege on Gaza.
Shut it down.
The whole system. The occupation. The siege on Gaza. The whole system. Beautiful. Yalla, we'll do the next one. Yalla, yalla, Palestine. We know that you're not a dream. Yalla, yalla, Palestine. We know that you're not a dream. Yalla, yalla, Palestine. We know that you're not a dream. Yalla, yalla, Palestine. We know that you're not a dream. Awesome. Let's do the next one. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. And we'll do one more. Free, free. From the river to the sea. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Thank you.
So just before we leave and start setting up for us, our team actually, not you, there's a few speeches. We have the big flag with us, and we would like some people to come and grab it on the way out, like when we actually start the marching. So if you just reach out to me, I'll be standing in the corner there somewhere. I can give like a few people the flag. Thank you.
Kia ora tātou. I'd now like to introduce Yael Shulhut. Yael is a very brave, honest, and one of a kind. She is a big part of Daenu, who are New Zealand Jews against racism. They are against the illegal occupation of Palestinian land. She owns and runs Ima Cuisine, which serves delicious Middle Eastern food, so please support it, just like Daenu is always supporting Palestine. Kia ora.
Thanks. I'm not tall. Thank you. Hi. I was born in Haifa in 1962. My parents were born there. My grandfather was born under the Ottoman Empire next to Sejera, a village does not exist. My other three grandparents arrived on British mandate Palestine in late 1920s. My family does not have a Holocaust story. You could say they were early adopters of Zionism. So they were in Palestine during World War II. I was raised in the lap of Zionism. Our identity, everything we think and feel, is shaped by intense indoctrination. At home, at school, and after school in youth movements. We are told a story that is full of lies, so many lies. The main idea that surrounded my identity is that we were given a small piece of land, that we were attacked by all our neighbors in 1948, and miraculously we survived. We are told that some, not many Palestinians, fled during that war. We were told that they fled not because they were forced out by brutal, murderous force, but by their own accord. Shame.
I was not told about ethnic cleansing. I was not told about horrendous massacres. I was not told about death marches. Another lie
that is fundamental in the Israeli psyche is that we are a nation of peaceful people that just want to live peacefully on the little piece of land, and we are surrounded by people who want to slaughter us. That is the biggest lie of all. There has always been an agenda of ethnic cleansing, of expansion, of land grabbing. If living peacefully as a small Jewish state was truth, then they would have returned the land occupied in 67. At the time, there were many voices urging the government of the day to return the occupied territories. Many people, even Ben-Gurion, warned us that ruling over what was then 1.5 million people will destroy us. Growing up in Israel makes you a product of that deep indoctrination. But a lie has always got cracks in it. And I always knew there was something wrong, something unfair. I was on the left, I tried to reach down, but deep down, I still believe that slogan that is driven into our mind, that until they acknowledge our right to exist, there is no one to talk to. Living in New Zealand, I made many Palestinian friends, but the real fundamental change to me came through my friend Naram. Naram was born in Nazareth to a family that were driven out by nearby Safuri in 1948. With my dear friend Naram, I visited Ramallah, Nablus, Tulkarem, and spent a lot of time in Nazareth. I met many wonderful people and heard many shocking stories that I found devastating. And now my eyes are open. Now I can see. I am not a Zionist. I know my people's real history. I am heartbroken, and I am deeply ashamed. I am not alone. There are other Jewish Israelis like me who have a real connection to their Palestinian brothers and sisters. Through their connection and real friendship, they have lost the fear that is so deeply driven into our hearts and minds. We are not many, but we cannot be lied to anymore. And we are not scared to give up the dream of Jewish state, because we know that we absolutely can live together. The systematic dehumanization that has been going over 75 years allows the Israeli state to commit horrendous genocide on a level that is just beyond belief. When you don't see the other as human, you can commit unbelievable crime and still sleep at night. People like me in Israel are not blinded by Zionism and fear, are now aggressively and violently shut down. People are arrested for simply sharing a photo of a family who lost their lives in Gaza. Okay. I truly believe that this is the beginning of the end of the apartheid regime. The world can see the truth, your truth. Your truth gives you strength, and you are strong. I believe that the future between the river and the sea will be a joint future of justice and equality. It must start with an acknowledgement of all the past crimes. There must be a sincere and true apology, a right of return, reparation and compensation, and then, only then, can we start life together, based on equality, freedom, and justice. So I chant with you, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. Just a couple of quick announcements. We've got the brother here who's going live on YouTube with Radio In Collab. and has been documenting all of our rallies, the amazing corridor with the UN Special Rapporteur, Francesca Albanese, and is going live today. So if anyone wants to catch up with these corridor later on, please go and check out Radio in Collab on YouTube. Another announcement is that we've had a wallet handed in belongs to someone called Sarah Ann. So if that is you, Sarah Ann, your wallet is here with me. Just come and find me here up at the stage.
Just a quick announcement.
Yep.
The microphone, because we need the other microphone. The guy just took it. Can I just make it quick? Very quick.
Yep.
The brother who took the megaphone and the microphone will need it for a performance here. So can you bring it back, please? The guy who took my megaphone and a spare microphone. Thank you.
All right, so now we've got some amazing spoken word and slam poetry that's going to be shared with us by Rahaf and Ruby Joda. So please welcome them. Kia ora. So what you could do is just hold it between the both of you and both speak into it or share it. Ka pai? Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum and kia ora everyone. My name is Rahaf Gouda.
And I'm Ruby Gouda.
And today we will be representing you a spoken word where I will be representing Palestine and Ruby will be representing the Western media. Thank you. On the soil of my ancestors, where echoes of pain persist, since the 7th of October, 4,000 children no longer exist.
Hold up, gotta ask though, what's up with Hamas?
Olive trees stand tall, witnesses to our fight, yet oppression runs deep every day and every night. In the streets, in the rubble, where dreams are crushed, look beyond the headlines. Our reality is hushed.
Okay, but do you condemn Hamas?
My people are being killed. My people are dying. The world might turn away, but we endure. A story of survival, our strength pure. 1, 2, 3. So, when you speak of Hamas and political play, remember, we're just trying to survive each day. But hold up, world, let's address the scene. When Ukraine needed support, you all stood up. It was seen.
Nah, fam, it's different. You can't compare. Ukraine's struggle isn't the same. It's rare.
Hold up, rewind, let's get this straight. In real life, it's not just a fabricated debate. I speak of real pain, real tears, not your headlines that play on the truth.
It's just not the same. They have blonde hair and blue eyes, can't you see?
But why? Why the silence when our people cry? Fighting for justice while our dreams fly. They bleed like us, feel pain like we do. Why the double standard?
I don't know. It's just too controversial. I mean, isn't it bad for both sides?
So let's break the silence, let truth find its place. In the narrative, let justice embrace. For every life lost, for every tear shed, it's not about sides, it's about empathy instead.
Too controversial. Can't we steer clear? It's a complex issue, isn't it?
But the cries of the wounded pierce through the night. In the halls of hospitals where hope takes flight, there comes a time when silence is betrayal. In the face of the injustice, when empathy should prevail.
Not my issue to speak on, you see. I'm just reporting what's given to me.
But the truth is reality, not a one-sided tale. In the rubble of silence, justice turns
Do you
pale.
condemn Hamas?
In the heart of our struggle where shadows
Do you
dance,
condemn
in the
Hamas,
complexity of our reality, don't
But
cut
do you
me
condemn
short.
Hamas?
It's not about sides, it's about
But do
justice.
you condemn Hamas?
These aimless questions echoing won't raise the dead. Beyond the noise, history teaches us the truth. Let's drop the empty talk and strive for something deeper. You asked me about Hamas, but do you condemn Israel? Or is it just the days of the week that scare you? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, do they scare you?
It's simply just not my issue. I'm done hearing about this.
3, 2. Since the 7th of October, 14,000 Palestinians have been killed. In the unity of our voices today and every day, we stand as one,
fighting for justice.
Today and every day, our commitment is clear, to speak for the silence and to fight for justice. In solidarity we rise, today and always, and free Palestine. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Thank you.
Kia ora tātou, we've reached our last speaker for today. I'd like to introduce Lena. Lena says you don't need to be Palestinian to show solidarity with the Palestinian cause. Lena is a Kiwi Sudanese who is an architectural graduate writer artist and activist currently living in Tamaki Makaurau. Lena channels the distress induced by the ongoing conflicts and wars into her art, concurrently conveying her profound connection to and love for the nation, its people, culture, and inherent beauty. Sudan has been going through a genocide for the past 4 years. She will talk to us about the parallel fields and justice. Kia ora.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Kia ora. The first thing I would like to do is acknowledge the tangata whenua of Aotearoa and Ngāti whenua of this land who have cared for, fought, bled, and have died on this land. There is never a time more appropriate than within the context of a Palestine solidarity rally to stress the importance of the acknowledgement of tangata whenua and the pain and suffering they have had to endure in an effort to retain their culture, honor their past, and continue to call the land of their ancestors home. My name is Lena Khair. I'm not a Palestinian. I'm a Sudanese Kiwi. I'm going to draw a few parallels between mass movements over the last couple of years and the protests currently happening all over the world calling for a ceasefire, not a pause, a ceasefire in Gaza. Some of you will be familiar with Sudan. 4 years ago, in 2019, Sudan was at the peak of a major and historic revolution. At the June 6th massacre, a peaceful sit-in, hundreds of innocent, unarmed Sudanese civilians were slaughtered en masse for daring to demand the downfall of an oppressive regime that had been suffocating the Sudanese people for decades. Sound familiar? Their bodies continued to surface and float down the River Nile for days afterwards. The world took notice as the biggest social media campaign in Sudanese history, Blue for Sudan, had taken the internet by storm, with footage of the atrocities going viral, resulting in international protests and rallies just like this one, in which with one voice, people chanted, "I am Sudan." I will also add that since April of this year, Sudan has been subjected to a war between two of the major forces responsible for the massacre of June 6th, and 4.5 million Sudanese have been internally displaced and over 10,000 killed. I ask you to also cast your minds back to 2020, when that sickening video of the murder of the unarmed George Floyd went viral. For 8 horrifying minutes, the world watched as he was slowly but violently murdered by US police using the techniques the Israeli Defense Forces taught the US police. In that footage, the whole world listened as he called out those chilling words, "I can't breathe," launching some of the world's largest mass demonstrations of all time. In 2021, during another one of the settler colonial state of Israel's assaults on Gaza, You could hear Palestinians in Nazareth singing Sudanese revolutionary songs. You could also see those words, "I can't breathe," scrolled on boards and held up high at Palestine protests all over the world. These movements, they are connected. All systems of oppression reinforce one another. Challenging one challenges them all to believe in the rallying call, Black Lives Matter, or to be a feminist, or to be a person of faith, or to hold any strong belief in the importance of social justice for all, of equality, of the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is imperative to understand that you cannot believe in those ideals if you do not hold that the people of Palestine deserve all of those things. The Palestinian cause is one in which so many of the major systems of oppression come together. Apartheid, Islamophobia, racism, colonialism, white supremacy. It's like the anti-Avengers coming together. And that is why to fight for Palestine is to fight for all of us, to challenge all of these systems. Nothing happens in isolation. When it comes to the perception of Palestinians, words like Hamas, rockets, terrorists, and human shields crop up. Words used to frighten people away from learning more about context, about the history of Palestinians, about all that has been so viciously and cruelly ripped from them since occupation, about the conditions in which Palestinians in Gaza have been forced to live for 16 years without the unilateral condemnation of the world. But now, it feels as though people are learning about the imbalance of power between Palestinians and the settler colonial state of Israel, and how the public has been led to believe that an entire people are deserving of indiscriminate shelling and collective punishment. Just like with the Sudan Revolution, just like with Black Lives Matter, the footage that is now saturating social media has been a massive part of this narrative shift. Palestinian journalists on the ground are risking their lives to share footage of massacre after massacre as this horrific genocide plays out. They are diligently visiting flattened residential neighborhood after neighborhood and documenting the many bodies wrapped in blankets on the rubble. It has been an incredibly painful month and a half for Palestinians, for Arabs, for Muslims, and allies all over the world. But we can see the change that is happening in public discourse. By sharing footage, by amplifying the voices of Palestinians on the ground and Palestinians in diaspora, we are all serving to debunk the Zionist trope that frames all Palestinians, and in particular, all civilians in Gaza, as terrorists. You can't convince a world that's seen this footage with their eyes that this is a just war on Hamas. This is genocide, this is terrorism, and this must stop now. When it comes to our country's stance, I'll paraphrase something the great civil rights leader and scholar Angela Davis said. Change doesn't happen because a leader or a government chooses to move in a more progressive direction. Change happens due to mass movements. It's about us. It's about every single one of our friends that we move to choose justice and humanity over maintaining the status quo. It's about how we use social media, writing, advocacy, debate, conversations to decolonize the narrative that frames all Palestinians and Muslims as terrorists. This is not only a Palestinian issue, it's a human rights issue, and it's not that complicated. Not right now. Demand a ceasefire continuously. Demand that Israel stops violating international law after international law with impunity. I'm not Palestinian, but during the Sudanese revolution, the world echoed with the rallying cry, "I am Sudan." And this call was a statement by supporters of the revolution that until the Sudanese were free, no one was free. When George Floyd was murdered in the States, reigniting the Black Lives Matters movement, the whole world chanted, "I can't breathe." Solidarity. Our struggles are interwoven. Again, I say I am not Palestinian, but injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And the Quran says, whoever kills an innocent man, it is though he has killed all mankind. Religion, mass movements throughout history recognize that to oppress some of us is to oppress all of us. So I may not be Palestinian, but until Palestine is free, I am Palestine. Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you so much, Lena. What a powerful kōrero, which is going to lead into our final waiata before we take down to the street and head off on our hikoi. And it's a really good reminder for us. And I think it's important for us to remember in terms of every single politician that is in the New Zealand government. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter if they're on the left wing. It doesn't matter if they're on the right wing. They're part of the same colonial bird. It's important for us to remember that the power is with the people. And when we look at our leaders and wonder why it's taken them so long or why they are not calling for a ceasefire, it is because they are aligned with the colonial settler project which has been imposed on us as tangata whenua and imposed on the people of Palestine. It is important for us to remember that. So it is our power in uniting together to create the change that we want to see. And what that means is all of us as iwi coming together. The waiata that Te Atarangi Māori is going to lead us off with now is called Tūtira. Tūtira mai ngā iwi. It is absolutely appropriate and fitting for this kaupapa and for all of the kaupapa that we're going to be facing today and heading forward. Kia ora.
Chirp. That's us. Tūtira mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e kaka. Tūtira mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e whai a te maramatanga, me te aroha e ngā iwi. Kia tapatahi, kia kotahira, tātou, tātou e, tātou, tātou, tātou e. I want us to try another waiata. It's from this other waiata that I was listening to this morning, and it's a two-part. So maybe this half of everyone sing the first part, and then the second half will sing the other part. And this is what this half's going to sing. Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go. Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go. We need louder. Free my people, long live Palestine. Never let you go. We need a bit louder. Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go. Keep going. Free people, long live Palestine. We will never let you. And then the other half goes. Keep going. Free people, long. I need to hear it. Palestine. This is the second half. Keep going and loud if you can. Free, free Palestine, 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 free, free Palestine. Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go. The Bros energy. Free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine, yeah. Free, free Palestine. We will never let you go. Yeah, shot whānau, we'll jam it down the way maybe. Kia ora.
Okay, as we hikoi down Queen Street, please remember to please stay off the footpaths. If you see anyone who's trying to be problematic or try and agitate the crowd, kia tau, stay peaceful, stay calm, and maintain the integrity of our kaupapa. Let's head down to the US consulate and tell them that we do not support genocidal, psychopathic maniacs who are taking out murder against the people in Gaza. We don't want to see a pause. What do we want to see?
Ceasefire!
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Heads up.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
There's the banners and the coffin. If people can grab it as well during the march, that would be great. Thank you.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Can people just try and catch up with the people in front of them? Thank you. Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire now!